Hello everyone, this is Cosmic Kitsuname, and today I'm going to be talking about my gripe with modern gaming. Sometimes people will watch my videos and then they'll ask me, "Hey Kazi, why don't you play new games or newer games?" Well, here's the thing. I'm not opposed to playing them or trying them out. I am very open to suggestions. The thing is, I enjoy a lot of the older games due to the simple fact that there was much more care put into them than a lot of what I see today. So, part of it is a bit of a preference, and the other part is a bit of a familiarity. So, it's not that I'm opposed to playing anything new, and I really want to, I just haven't really found anything to quite scratch that itch, so to speak. And I've had every console, and I'm a heavy advocate for visual novels, so I play a lot of those too. Play a lot of puzzle games, JRPGs, and some of the stuff you've seen me upload. I've been having a lot of fun making live streams, and I'm happy if I'm able to make someone else's day. But when it comes to modern gaming, and I'm going to give 3 examples of this, because this in some way affects all genres of gaming, to the point where I now have to think twice when I buy a game. There used to be a time where I could buy a game, and even if it kinda sucked, I could at least find something noteworthy in the game to feel invested or to continue playing. But I am just not getting that with a lot of newer stuff. I remember I was playing High on Life, and it reached a point to where I just wasn't feeling it. Became a little too tedious for me. And I know there's people that really like that game, I just wasn't one of them. So I moved on to something else. And yeah, you have to at least search for stuff that you can vibe with. Which brings me to the fact that there are a lot of people who fight to have things in games that they'll never even play nor look at, which is very dishonest and extremely annoying. There are some people out there that have this mentality of if I can't enjoy it, no one can. And this is why a lot of places, especially movies and certain individuals losing lots of money who seem to not care, come into play. I used to really enjoy every time a new movie or new game came out, even if I wasn't interested in the genre. Sometimes I'd look at a recap or something like that and go, oh, that's really cool. I might play that someday, or I might watch that someday. I don't find myself really doing that. There's a lot of people who have this get woke, go broke type of mentality, and it really doesn't help anyone. It doesn't bring about any type of real understanding of anything, and in actuality, in some cases, cause massive problems. How someone feels about it becomes rather irrelevant when A, it's not making anything, and B, it's just pissing people off. And I remember looking into this whole Hogwarts legacy controversy, and honestly, I don't really care. I'll try the game out. Either I like it or I don't, and then I move on. That's something people should let the players decide. And one example I can think of that I really hate a lot today is the fact that I remember when I would play games like Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy VIII, you would have this big world map to explore. And whether you were paying attention to the story or whether you just wanted to wander around aimlessly or whatever, there was always some kind of cool thing to discover or find, secrets and stuff like that. It had a big map. It was very enjoyable. And what I notice now is that a lot of games have become very linear to where you're essentially going in a straight line and going from point A to point B, and there's really no room for exploration. I've watched this happen to the Final Fantasy series to a degree. The only time I really felt even a hint of that type of nostalgia is when I was playing Final Fantasy 15. It brought back some of those feelings when I was going around the map, which felt kind of cool. And then there was the little monster hunt quest. That felt really cool too. That actually kind of saved the game for me. There are some people that don't care about stuff like that, and then there's some people who really do enjoy the lore and the exploration. And I'm just one of those players. That is what I expect from any type of JRPG or any game similar. Good story, good exploration. If it has good combat, that's a plus too. I'm willing to overlook stuff that can be patched or mechanical errors as long as the game is overall fun. And speaking of errors, I find it really weird that we now live in a time period where the fans will fix an error sometimes long before the developer ever does. I know there's games right now that the errors will never be fixed on unless a fan does it. It's like, fine, I'll do it myself. And yeah, it's really cool to have mods and stuff like that. And I'm not unappreciative of that, but it's like, damn, you know, some of this stuff could have been patched out. It's like this. Imagine if you buy a car, and then when you get the car, the wheels are the wrong size, or not even on the car at all, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna go buy some wheels. Yeah, that's real admirable, but why the hell didn't it come with wheels in the first place? Why were the wheels missized or flat? What the heck? And it definitely varies. Sometimes the tires are all flat, okay. There's with some air in the tires, but when the wheel is the wrong size and are just outright missing, that's pretty messed up. It's even more angering when you find out it's done purposely. Okay, we're gonna put the DLC on the game, but then we're gonna make people pay for it. Or we're gonna release clothing for the game and have it cost almost as much as the game itself. Better yet, let's release characters that have always been in the game since day one and make people pay for them all over again. Thinking about one game in particular. Kudos if anyone knows which one it is. Because I stopped playing that particular game for a very long time. And there's a small part of me that hopes when the new one comes out, they're able to kind of turn it around, but it is not looking that way. And when I think about such games, it also reminds me of shooting games because even though I wasn't very big on them when I was younger, yeah, I played some shooting games. I mean, Halo, Medal of Honor, stuff like that. But I never thought it would evolve into such a thing to where you would need to get a series of maps just so you can fully enjoy the game. And oh, what's that? You don't have the map, but your friend does? Well, you can't play on it. Okay, that's kind of messed up, but alright. Nobody likes that. And granted, there have been fans that have fixed that too. There have been fans that have made their own maps and built their own worlds in certain games. And speaking of world building, I remember when Minecraft became big again, and I will say again, because the concept wasn't new, at least to me. To the point where I was just like, okay, this is really cool. Okay, you can build your own worlds, but none of that was really new to me. So even though I liked it, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool, bringing back something that we've kind of had for a while, but alright, cool. Revival on that. That's one example where it really isn't a bad thing, but what most people generally want to see is new characters. I get tired of seeing the same old characters being reswapped and this and that. It'd be good to get a whole new character, get some originality in there somewhere. But yeah, that's what's really messed up about it. And I remember a certain Mario situation where some people got pissed off that people were making their own little worlds and then jumped and tried to capitalize on that. I mean, it's almost like the fans are sometimes the freaking employees, only they're not getting paid for it. All the fans will mod and fix it. It would honestly not surprise me if somebody said that. Oh, the fans will mod and fix it. Don't worry about it. But by the same token, something else needs to be said too. When the fans or the people that throw money at this stuff keep giving money to things that they hate in hopes that they'll change, it doesn't really help anyone. And this is what brings me to fighting games, for example. I remember when I was playing Tekken and Street Fighter. Two very big games for a long time. I remember playing Street Fighter 2 and then Turbo and Third Strike and all that. Tekken 1, 2, 3, etc. I eventually ended up staying on Dead or Alive for a while, swapping back on Virtual Fighter, Soul Calibur. So I played a lot of fighting games. But now, unless it's an anime fighter, I don't really too much give it a second glance anymore. And this is why. Anytime you have a game to where every character moves like an arthritic sloth, and you have specials that, stop time, and it becomes all about how flashy can I be, it's just not really fun. Nobody wants a game of any kind that holds their hands so heavily. This is why I still like puzzle games and stuff of that nature. At the very least, it kind of holds on to some of that magic, despite the fact that a lot of them are getting watered down too. Last good one I played would be Professor Layton, and that was a very long time ago. I mean, hell, I'd rather take Pokemon Puzzle League over some of the stuff we have now, but the thing about it is, you shouldn't want your game to be so overly accessible to where you can press one button and do everything. But by the same token, you don't want it so insanely difficult to where people can't even begin to get into it. And so there's a thin line between that, but most importantly, you have to cater to your audience. So if you made a game that caters to hardcore veterans, then cater to them. And if you want to add something in there, don't add a bunch of stuff that's going to make it terrible for them because they're the ones that got to buy the game. And by the same token, if you want something we could do easy button presses, then, you know, Ninja Storm would be a good example. You know, the Naruto games, any of them really, would be a good example of that done in its own way. Those aren't typically type of games you really take that serious to begin with, although some people clearly do. But that's the point I'm making. And I can only hope that some level of honesty comes back into this, because there used to be somewhat of a understanding to where, okay, we are going to make this, throw it out there and see how well it does. If they like it, we'll keep making it. If they don't, we'll make some changes. But now it's just, you have some of the smallest amount of people with the loudest voice over something that they'll never so much as play. And that's not cool. It's a lot like being a comic. Let's say you make a joke, everybody laughs except for maybe 2 people. Okay? Well, unless that 2 people becomes 2,000 or something, even if that isn't a lot compared to the people that are laughing, then that'd be one thing. But if it just remains something like that, I care less. And most people should. If something is universally wrong or offensive, let it be up for discussion. People can't just be trying to hit a kill switch on everything just because. And if you're upset about something, okay, you know, make a video about it or something. Because this is honestly how I feel every time somebody tries to ruin something for me, be it fan, developer, or whatever, when all I want to do is just play a game.
Morty, you have to help me!
Summer, he's happy. I'm happy. Is that why you're doing this? You don't want me and Rick to be happy?
No!
Well, then get your shit together. Get it all together and put it in a backpack. All your shit, so it's together. And if you gotta take it somewhere, you know? Take it to the shit store and sell it. Or put it in a shit museum. I don't care what you do. You just gotta get it together. Get your shit together.
And with that being shown, that's exactly how I am about it. Because when somebody either comes from work or whatever they're doing, they get home, they plug in the console or PC, we just want to play a game, okay? We want to be able to play a game, relax, find something we can laugh about or enjoy, or if the game is deep enough, think about long after the fact. But that's really it. Maybe beat the game and becomes part of the collection on the wall somewhere. That's really it. It's not that complicated. Some things shouldn't be simplified down to the brass, but at the same time there's certain things that doesn't need to be overcomplicated or overanalyzed to some type of weird molecular level. Because then it's not fun. It's a healthy amount of escapism from our daily lives, and I for one would greatly appreciate it if people would stop going out of their way to include every IRL thing in the game. Okay, we get it. The world is messed up. Can we kindly take 10 minutes to not think about that and just enjoy the game? God willing. And afterwards talk about what could have been better or what needs to be changed or whatever. I mean, it's so crazy that when a game comes out, like long before it ever comes out, months ahead of time, to the point to where there's so much tension circulating around it that people don't want to play it anymore. Some people are like, yeah, you know what, screw it. If I play this game, it's like stabbing someone in the back, you know. Think of all my friends that would hate this game or whatever. Well, you're not playing the game for your friends, you're playing it for you. That's like if I were to go bowling or something, let's say, oh man, you know, sure wish friends were here. Well, is it a team game? No. Okay, then what are you worried about? You were going to play it one player anyway. It's not the reason that somebody should like something. There's games my friends like that I hate, and I'm sure there's games that I play that they don't like. It's called having a preference. It's called having some type of common sense or sense about yourself. And you see, that's one element that, funny enough, translates into IRL. So there you have a connection right then and there. But yeah, I tried to keep this not too lengthy, but I just wanted to talk about that. And if those of you have ever felt the same way or want to make a comment about it or whatever, leave a comment in the comment section. But yeah, that's just all I want to say, or judge me as you may, or disagree, whatever. But that's just where I'm at. And I really hope that some form of change comes along soon. Not just for the sake of gaming, but movies as well. And maybe the overall culture. So anyway, I'd like to thank everyone who's watched my video and say take care and peace.
Sharp like an edge of a samurai sword, the mental blade cut through flesh and bone. Though my mind's at peace, the word out of order, missing in the heat, life gets colder. Oh yes, I have to find my path, no less walk on earth, water and fire. The elements compose a madam, opus my modus operandi as a amalgam. Steel packed tight in micro, chip on my armor, a sign of all pro. The ultimate reward is diamond out of wars, at odds with the times of wars with no lords. A freelancer, a battle cry of a hawk, make a dove fly and a tear dry. Wonder why a lone wolf don't roll with the clan, only trust the instincts and be one with the plan. Some days, some nights, some live, some die in the way of the samurai. Some fight, some bleed, sun up to sun down, the sons of a battle cry. Some days, some nights, some live, some die in the name of the samurai. Some fight, some bleed, sun up to sun down, the sons of a battle cry. A battle cry. Look, just the air around the menorah surrounding the heir apparent. He might be a peasant, but shine like a grand royalty. He to the people and land loyalty. We witness above all to hear this. See sickness in the ocean of wickedness. Set sail to the sunset, no second guessing. Fall each down with the spirit of Wild West. The quotes of the quote stand the tester. Time for the chosen ones to find the best. Noble minds that ever grace the face of hemisphere with no fear fly over the blue yonder, where the sky meets the sea and I meets the I. And boy meets word and became a man and served the word to say the day, the night, and the girl too. Some days, some nights, some live, some die in the way of the samurai. Some fight, some bleed, sun up to sun down, the sons of a battle cry. Some days, some nights, some live, some die in the name of the samurai. Some fight, some bleed, sun up to sun down, the sons of a battle cry. A battle cry.